Hello, welcome back to my car cave. Thought I'd talk to you guys about something a little different. Yes, it's still F1, but it is a 1/12 scale offering from GP Replicas. It's relatively new. It's been out a few months. I think I've had it for a little bit, but decided to make a video on it. This is the 1976 312 T2 Ferrari, driven by Nikki Lauda to a win at the Monaco Grand Prix. This particular edition is a limited edition of 250 pieces. Comes with a big acrylic case. Sadly, mine has a crack here. Came to me that way, but you know, that is what it is. So anyways, let's go ahead and take this out and look at some of the details. Okay, taking the cover off, and as you can see, this is the 76 312T, driven by Nikki Lauda during that season. This is the season, unfortunately, that he had his accident that took him out of enough races that he lost the championship ultimately to uh, James Hunt at the end of the day. This is like I said, a 1/12 scale. I'm not taking it off the base just because I don't have a case to store it in. So this is one example where the acrylic covers that come on these newer cars is actually helpful for display purposes. So you can see it has a limited edition plaque on it. Um, I think it is a great model. It's beautiful. It's one of the more attractive Ferrari F1s. I think a lot of people will say this is the most attractive F1 car produced by Ferrari. I have a different opinion, and I'll show you that in another video some other day. But anyways, a gorgeous car. I wanted to add it to my collection. It's an older one. I'm not real familiar with the racing history other than the ultimate results, that kind of stuff. I wasn't watching F1 at this point in my life. I was too young. But anyways, I did want it for my collection. I think it's a beautiful piece. By GP Replicas, they are making more 1/12 scales these days. Um, probably buying some of their other more modern offerings as well. But anyways, this is a great car, a heavy model. Obviously, the base is part of it. It's resin, full of photo etch details. The chrome work on the wings is amazing. Interior details are also really nice. So yeah, this is what a 1/scale or 1/12 scale model looks like. And let's go ahead and why don't we compare it to its sister car, the 1/18th version from the Monza GP of that same season. Okay, so this is a comparison of the 1/18th scale version from the Monza Grand Prix or the Italian Grand Prix that year versus the 1/12 scale. So you can see the size difference. Obviously, 1/18th is a much easier scale to collect, whereas 1/12 scale is limiting just because of its size. In the much way you would say 1/43rd could be better than 1/18th just because of its size and space requirements. So thought I'd kind of walk through and see what you get that's different. These cars not terribly different in design. It's really decal wise, shape, wings, all that. It's despite being one being Monaco and one being Monza, two totally different race configurations these days in terms of how you would tune up your car aerodynamically. From my eyesight, I can't really tell any differences in the car design here. So anyways, I just highlight some obvious stuff. So one of the first and most obvious differences to me are these air intakes for the brakes. On the 1/18th scale, this is done in a kind of a plastic painted beige color. Here you can see it's this transparent or translucent kind of amber yellow color. The actual car ran a fiberglass, I suppose fiberglass mold of this, and it did have a transparent feature to it or look to it. And actually, it's kind of funny that GP Replicas does it this way because, if the 1/18th scale is incorrect, that it's painted, this is a massive overcorrect as these are too clear and, more reminiscent of a Lego part. And it's kind of frustrating in the sense that the 1982 variant of one of the Ferraris, though, I think it's the 126, they do a great job. They have a transparent type beige colored air intake on that car, and that's done right. And that model I've had for a while, and so this is made afterwards, and so they had the material. So not sure why on this scale on a later production model they wouldn't have used that same material. But anyways, nice little feature, definitely different than the 1/18 scale. Another difference I find is the interior. Obviously, at a larger scale, this is where the larger scale benefits. The flocking on the steering wheel and the seat and the headrests are all more to scale. It's the same flocking on the 1/18th, which really clutters the steering wheel up to an unrecognizable and hard to photograph piece. You can see more steering wheel column detail. You can see the pedals down there as well, and the gear shift lever. You know, it just because it's larger, it all looks nicer. The 1/18th is done really well. You just can't, you know, at scale using the same materials, it just doesn't come off as well. Then here on the side, you have more rivets than you do on the 1/18 scale. The 1/18 scale does a pretty good job at the top of the cowling having rivets and stuff, but on the 1/12 scale, you'll additionally get these side rivets here that do not appear on the 1/18 scale. Another difference is if you look inside the rear wing support beam, you get that photo etched radiator part. On the 1/18 scale. It's just blank white, which frankly they could have done something like painted it black or done something a little bit better. But I'm not going to complain. But on the 1/12 scale, again, another opportunity to have bigger, more detail on the bigger car. In the rear of the car, the engine is more detailed on the 1/12 scale, as you can imagine. A lot more wiring and plumbing and that kind of stuff. Some photo etch parts here in the back as well that you don't have on the 1/18 scale. Yeah, they both look, like I said, 1/18 scale, don't get me wrong, it looks great, but obviously on 1/12 it does look even better. But that said, I've seen better at this scale. You know, again, but this is not an amalgam priced model. It's a GP Replicas, which, you know, is more affordable per se. Anyways, but yeah, so obviously you get a little bit more details with the larger scale. Something else you get at 1/12 scale is these wing end plates are, you know, metal parts that gives them a more accurate scale. They're real thin here. On the 1/18 scale, they're made of plastics. They're a little bit thicker, and the scale is not quite as great. Totally acceptable for 1/18 scale, but you know, when it comes to 1/12 scale, they've done a nice job here. And then underneath there, it's hard to kind of see the connection between the front wheel wing, or sorry, the front wing and the nose cone is also a photo etch part. And on the 1/18 scale, it's a piece of plastic. But it's got all the rivets and everything, the chrome of these wings on both the 1/18 scale and the 1/12 scale are amazing. I would say on the 1/12 scale, you see a little more of these divots and stuff like that. So again, that's a case where the bigger scale highlights flaws as opposed to allow you to have more detail. When it comes to the wheels at 1/12 scale, you know, the wheel nut is a little disappointing. It's not really any different than the 1/18 scale. It's, you know, they weren't super complicated like they are now, but still, I think it could have been done better on 1/12 scale. What you do get on the 1/12 scale is the Goodyear tire markings are more accurate. They're kind of that stenciled paint job on here that would have been accurate because they were just spray painting the tires on the side. 1/18 scale, they can't get that little stencil effect, so that's a bonus here on the 1/12 scale for more detail. So that's a quick highlight of the differences you get between a larger 1/12 scale and a smaller 1/18 scale model from GP Replicas. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go ahead and subscribe, hit like. I appreciate it, and I'll have some more videos coming soon.